with our second episode of the Business Babes video interview series. If you've watched the first one, was with Pims at Kitten Retro, and now our second episode is with Kayla here from vivnizzys, and I'm just going to ask her some of the same questions and get to know her a little bit better. So, first question, even though I already gave away, what is your name? And then what is your title and what exactly do you do?
Okay, my name is Kayla. I own vivnizzys and I am the creator and mastermind. And I make hair flowers and coffins, hair bows, just creepy, cute, pin-up, rockabilly hair accessories.
Okay. So when you say coffins, you don't make like actual like...
No, not actual coffins. I should have brought one. So
I know what you make, but if you said coffins, I was like, you don't actually make like coffins.
No, not actual coffins. They're like little jewelry boxes.
Jewelry boxes, yeah. Like little trinket boxes. They're super, super cute. All right, so when did your business start?
I started making hair accessories, not officially, but when I was in high school. My mom has always worn hair flowers, so it was like a normal thing for me. And then I started selling them when I was a stay-at-home mom.
Awesome.
So my husband was stationed at Camp Pendleton, and I was at home with my kids, and I was bored. So, to be honest, so I started making hair accessories and selling them. And then when we moved here to Arizona, I started doing events and things like that.
Cool. So, what like year was that you kind of started making them to sell?
Maybe 2012.
Okay. So it's been like about 3 years that you've been.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. And how long have you lived in Arizona then?
I went to high school here. I left for about 5 years to California, and then we've been back here maybe about almost 2 years.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So is your job as vivnizzys, is that full-time or do you do something else also?
I do something else. So I work full-time 5 days a week at a dental office.
Oh, okay.
And then on my free time on weekends, after I come home and put my kids to bed, then I do vivnizzys stuff as well. Yeah.
Definitely. That's how it works for a lot of people when you have your business. It's like kind of on the side until you kind of try to start moving it more and more full-time, because doing it full-time is not easy.
No, that's the goal though. Like eventually I would love if I could just stay at home and do this full-time.
Yeah,
but
just hang out with your kids.
Yeah, right now I try to keep a good balance.
Yeah, definitely. That's like, I'm kind of doing it like opposite style. I'm trying to not have kids until I'm like really stable full time. Yeah. So I've been doing full time for a little bit, but I want it to be like, a little bit more progressed before I start having kids, because that's the same thing. Like, I'm like, I just want to stay home. Like, if I have kids, I don't want to be like out working. I want to hang with them. So.
Well, yeah, it's fun if you can work at home and then you can still go pick up your kid at 3 o'clock when they're out of school.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. So what does your best work day look like?
My best work day, probably like a Saturday, if my kids are behaving awesome and I can sit at my desk and work and they can sit right here on the floor and play, then I can get like a bazillion things done.
Yeah.
But that would be the best work days, when they're behaving and I got all my supplies ready and I can just work and we're all in like harmony during the day.
Awesome. So then on the other side of that coin, what's the worst day look like?
The worst day would be if they're being crazy and not wanting to let me work.
Right.
Or I have a habit of not buying glue sticks or the things that I need until like they're almost
just missing
gone.
Like one thing.
Exactly. And then I'm like, I have to pack up the car with the kids and go to the store. So
for just like one thing.
Yeah, my worst day is if I run out of supplies and the kids are being crazy.
Yeah, that's always the worst. When you're like, you sit down to work and you're like, I need that one thing. Why?
And I have a habit of like getting up on a Saturday morning, brushing my teeth, feeding the kids, and not showering and just coming and working. Yeah. And then if I forget something, I'm like, okay, now it's gonna take me an hour to get ready.
Get
just
them
to go
in the
get
car.
some glue sticks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm the same way. I try to get up and get ready before I sit down on my computer, but sometimes I'm like, well, I'll just sit down and answer emails, and then I'll get up, and then I'll like go back. But then you're like 2 hours later, you're like doing all the other things that you start happening. So. Understand that. So what are you most proud of so far with your business? Like, what's like the best thing that's happened?
The best thing that's happened is pretty like random people recognizing vivnizzys now. So it's one thing for all your friends and your family to know vivnizzys. But now that like random people, I've had random people come up to me and say, hey, I have that hair flower, I bought it online. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. I don't know who you are, but that's amazing.
That's so cool. Yeah.
And then I'm kind of a hermit, so with Viv and Izzy's going to events and stuff, like, it's fun to meet, you know, all these wonderful people and stuff like that. Definitely. So it's kind of helped Viv and Izzy's grow, and it's pretty awesome.
I've had a very similar experience because I used to be very, like, anxious around people, and, like, my first couple times I had, like, a table at an event or whatever, I was just like, oh my god, like, what am I doing? Like, people would walk up and be like, hi.
Like,
you're just, like, looking at me like, okay, like, what's happening? And I'm, like, not wanting to talk to them, but, you know, it's definitely, like, made me come out of my shell. Like, even doing something like this, like, I would never be like, oh, I'm gonna start, like, a video series and, like, go or interview people. Like, 2 years ago, I was like, why would I do that? And now I'm like, I just want to go meet everybody, and I'm, like, get so inspired by, like, everybody else that's, like, doing their thing, and just, like, just awesome. The kind of pit-up rockabilly community here, I don't know, I don't feel like a lot of other states are as, like, awesome as it is here. Everyone's very, like, friendly, everyone's friends, everyone works together, like, it's pretty awesome.
I think because the rockabilly scene in Arizona is smaller, so we're all kind of more close-knit, because I think if we were all kind of crazy and didn't get along, it would be terrible, because it's smaller here in Arizona.
Yeah, for sure. Everybody knows, like, everybody else's business.
Yeah, I know. That too.
Yeah. So, okay, who is your biggest supporter? Like, who is...
I would say my husband and my mom are, like, neck and neck. My husband, when we were buying a house, he's like, we have to get a house with an extra room for your office. And I'm like, oh my god, I love you. And he'll let me, you know, put the kids to bed and let me work in here for a few hours, and he'll wait up for me until I can go to bed with him.
That's awesome.
And then my mom, like, if I have an event, all of a sudden she'll be like, okay, I'll come get the kids. Like, if I need her for something, if I need her to work an event for me, or if I need, like, those crazy days where I can't quite get out of the house to get glue sticks, she'll come and help me out.
That's awesome.
So I think if I didn't have my mom and my husband backing me up to help me, there's no way I couldn't do it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Like, they're awesome.
That's lucky. I feel lucky too in the same way that, like, I have people that help me out in the same ways. I feel the same about my fiance, and my family's very supportive too. It's like, you're almost just like, yeah, this wouldn't be happening.
No, it's a big help. Like, I think for anything, like, especially a small business, like, whether, like, you're doing what you're doing, you need support, because it's crazy to do it by yourself. No.
Yeah, it's very disheartening at times. Yeah. So you have to have somebody being, like, your cheerleader, otherwise you're just like, I'm done.
Yeah, I would have quit a long time ago if I didn't have cheerleaders.
Same here. I hear ya. Awesome. What is the thing that distracts you the most or causes you to procrastinate?
I'm the biggest procrastinator in the whole entire world.
Really?
Yeah. Like, I was the person who's doing my homework in the morning before I had to go to school.
Yeah.
So, like, right before events, I'm usually making stuff the night before, staying up till 1 o'clock in the morning. So I think I'm my own worst enemy when it comes to those types of things.
Well, I mean, you also have a full-time job and kids, so it's not like...
not any big mountains or anything.
That makes it hard, yeah. I get distracted by, like, Instagram and Tumblr. I just want to, like, look at all the pretty pictures.
Yeah.
And I'm always like, well, I'm working because it's, like, inspiration and giving me ideas. It's, like, really...
That's a good... I agree with that.
I mean, and it does to a certain extent, but a lot of times on Instagram, I'm really just like, ooh, I want that dress.
I think I do. Like, I'll keep my computer on the side of my desk while I'm working.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I'm, you know, holding this while it dries, and then I'm looking at my computer and I'm like scrolling with this hand, and like 30 minutes goes by.
Yeah,
you're like, dried a long time ago.
I think it's dry, maybe.
Like, not really.
Awesome. So, last question is, where can people find you at? Online, in person? How do they find you?
So online, I'm on Facebook and Instagram. I had a Twitter, but it's somewhere deep in the closet, hiding somewhere. I couldn't figure out Twitter. I can't figure it out.
I was with it for like a minute, like 2 or 3 years ago, and then I was just kind of like, I'm over it.
I can figure it out. So I'm on Facebook, and I'm on Instagram. Those are like the two biggest places for me. As far as like purchasing items, I'm on Etsy and Store Envy. Okay. And then I have some items in a store in Phoenix. It's called Vox. So they have some bow ties and hair bows. And if you're in the local Phoenix area, you can go get some things there.
Yeah. And like you said, you do events sometimes too.
Yeah.
So if you Find her on Facebook, I'm sure.
Yeah, I always post, even events that we're not doing, there's events on Facebook, and especially whatever we are doing.
Right.
I'm constantly posting those things on Facebook.
Well, I'm going to make a list beneath on the video. It'll have all of your Instagram, Facebook, so that you don't have to try to, like, be like, how do I spell Izzy's? Is it Z? Is it S? It's
People
Z's.
do that all the time, yeah. It's Z's.
It is
There's
Z's.
two Z's.
I know that. So I'll list it all below so people don't have to try to, like, search for you.
Okay,
But
cool.
definitely check out her stuff. I'm wearing one today, and so is she. And if you can kind of see some of them over there. So definitely check out awesome handmade stuff, and thanks for talking to me.
Thank you.
Bye.